Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered why some people seem to defy time while others look decades older than they really are? What if I told you it has nothing to do with genetics, expensive creams, or hours in the gym? What if the secret to looking younger, feeling alive, and radiating energy is not something you apply on your skin? It's something you live every single day inside yourself. Most people are blind to this truth. They spend their lives chasing appearances, masking stress, hiding resentment, and pretending everything is fine, while their energy slowly drains and their vitality fades. But those who understand this secret, they carry life differently. They move through the world with a lightness, a presence, and a glow that makes time irrelevant. And in this video, I'm going to reveal why youth is not measured by your birth certificate, but by your energy, your choices, and the way you navigate every challenge life throws at you. You will discover why stress, bitterness, and internal conflict age you faster than anything else, and why emotional mastery, curiosity, and authenticity are the real fountain of youth. By the time this video ends, you will see yourself differently, you will see your life differently, and you will understand why the way you live today is shaping how vibrant and powerful you will feel tomorrow. Stick with me, because what I am about to reveal will shock you, inspire you, and give you a roadmap to protect your energy, preserve your vitality, and radiate youth from the inside out. If you thought looking younger was about luck, wait until you understand the truth that almost nobody dares to talk about, and why this knowledge could change your life forever. If you look younger than your age, the first thing you must understand is that this is not about luck. It is not about genes, expensive creams, or the hours you spend at the gym. Those things matter, yes, but they are superficial. They are temporary. What really determines whether you carry youth in your body, your face, and your presence is something far deeper. It is energy. The energy you cultivate in your mind, in your heart, and in your spirit. Age is just a number. True youthfulness is a reflection of how life flows through you, how resilient you are, and how gracefully you navigate every challenge that comes your way. Look at people you know who are 40 or 50, and yet they move through life like they are in their 20s. Their eyes are bright, their movements are fluid, their laughter is genuine. Why? It is not because time has overlooked them. It is because they carry lightness in their soul. They have learned not to carry unnecessary burdens. They have chosen to cultivate energy instead of exhaustion. They have refused to let the small, petty things of life harden their hearts. And when energy flows through you like that, your body responds. Your face radiates clarity. Your posture becomes confident. You become magnetic, not because of how you look, but because of how life has treated you and how you have chosen to respond. Most people think youth is a matter of appearance, but in reality, it is a matter of resilience. Youth is how quickly you can recover from disappointment, how deeply you can remain curious, and how courageously you can dream regardless of the years behind you. A person who has learned to navigate life with clarity, purpose, and hope does not look weighed down by time. Meanwhile, someone younger in years but heavy in anger, regret, or anxiety will age far faster than their actual age suggests. The truth is that life does not age the body. Life ages the mind and the spirit, and the body merely follows suit. Energy is cultivated in the way you respond to challenges. It is cultivated in the choices you make daily, in the moments when nobody is watching. It is cultivated when you decide to forgive instead of holding grudges, when you choose gratitude instead of envy, when you focus on solutions instead of problems. The mind that ruminates, the heart that resents, and the spirit that clings to fear or sends signals to your body, those signals affect your nervous system, your hormones, and ultimately your physical appearance. Youth is not a gift you receive. It is a state you create, and the people who look younger than their age are those who have made that state a priority, consciously or unconsciously. Consider this: every time you allow negativity to take root, you are literally stealing vitality from yourself. Every time you complain, argue, or dwell on what went wrong, your energy diminishes. And the body does not lie. It carries stress in the lines of your face, in the slump of your shoulders, in the heaviness of your steps. But when you cultivate resilience, optimism, and a playful curiosity about life, your energy remains high. Your nervous system stays regulated. Your body responds by staying flexible, your skin retains its glow, and your entire presence feels alive. Youthfulness is not a mask. It is the natural outcome of living harmoniously with your internal state. This is why I say youthfulness is energy, not age. Age is chronological. Energy is experiential. You can meet someone in their 70s who moves through the world with more vitality than someone in their 20s simply because they mastered the art of managing their inner world. They understand that life will throw challenges at you. It always does, but you have a choice in how you absorb them. You can let life weigh you down, or you can let it pass through you and emerge lighter, wiser, and more radiant. That choice creates the real difference between someone who ages gracefully and someone who ages prematurely. It is also why curiosity is such a critical factor. People who look younger than their age tend to remain fascinated with life. They ask questions, explore new ideas, seek new experiences, and refuse to settle for the dull comfort of routine alone. Curiosity is a youthful force. It keeps the mind active, the heart open, and the spirit alert. When you stop exploring, stop learning, and stop dreaming, stagnation sets in. Stagnation ages you faster than any physical stressor ever could, but curiosity feeds energy. Curiosity feeds vitality. Curiosity preserves youth, and this doesn't mean you never feel pain, disappointment, or fear. It means that when those things arrive, you do not allow them to stay with you longer than necessary. Youthful energy comes from adaptability, from the ability to experience without clinging, to engage without being consumed, to respond without being reactive. You preserve energy because you refuse to internalize every negative event, every petty criticism, and every societal expectation. This is the secret that almost nobody talks about. Your age does not dictate your vitality. Your choices do. So if you look younger than your age, understand this is a signal. It is a reflection of something deeper inside you. It is evidence that you are doing something most people are not willing to do. You are protecting your energy, nurturing your curiosity, and cultivating resilience. That is a skill, a discipline, and a practice, and it is far more valuable than any beauty cream, cosmetic procedure, or luxury product could ever be. Never forget this: looking younger than your age is not about vanity. It is about power. It is about mastery over yourself. It is about living in a way that your energy remains intact, that your presence remains light, and that your life remains expansive. Because when you carry life lightly, life carries you gracefully. So today, reflect on your own energy. Ask yourself, am I living in a way that preserves my vitality, or am I allowing my thoughts, habits, and emotions to age me prematurely? The choice is yours. Protect your energy. Cultivate resilience. Stay curious. And remember, youthfulness is not given, it is created. Your energy determines your age far more than your birth certificate ever will. If you want to understand why some people look far younger than their years, you have to start looking at more than just their routines or their diet. You have to look at their inner world. You see, what people rarely realize is that the face, the body, even the way someone carries themselves is a reflection of their emotional state. Chronic stress, unresolved resentment, constant worry, and the inability to manage emotions leave traces. Traces that time does not need to create. Stress ages you faster than any passing year. Emotional turbulence is the hidden thief of youth. Think about it for a moment. Every time someone feels anger and holds it inside, their body responds. The nervous system tightens, muscles contract, the heartbeat accelerates, and hormones spike. Cortisol, the stress hormone, floods the body repeatedly. Over time, this hormone begins to break down essential systems, including the very structure that keeps your skin firm, your energy high, and your face radiant. Look at people who live in constant fear, anger, or frustration. Their faces often tell a story far older than their chronological age. Lines appear where there should be none, the eyes lose their spark, and a heaviness settles into the shoulders and posture. Emotional neglect manifests physically, and it is relentless. Now, contrast that with someone who has mastered emotional discipline. Emotional discipline does not mean suppressing emotions, pretending to be happy, or living in denial. That is not discipline, that is avoidance. True emotional discipline means you feel fully, acknowledge completely, and then respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. It is the ability to experience life without letting it consume you. It is learning how to hold your inner world steady, even when external chaos surrounds you. And when you practice this consistently, the body responds in remarkable ways. Stress hormones drop, tension releases, sleep improves, energy remains high, and yes, the face, the posture, the very presence of that person begins to radiate youth. Most people underestimate how much emotional management affects physical appearance. They think youth is about external effort alone. They spend hours in front of mirrors, spend thousands on serums and creams, but they ignore the single most powerful factor: their own mind. Your thoughts are energy. Your reactions are energy. Your inner peace is energy. When you consistently allow negative emotions to dominate, you are literally draining energy from your body. When you respond instead of react, when you cultivate calm instead of chaos, your energy circulates freely and youthfulness remains. Let me be clear, emotional discipline is not easy. Life will test you constantly. People will disappoint you. Opportunities will be lost. Situations will spiral out of control. And every day, there will be moments when resentment, jealousy, and frustration knock at your door. But the difference between premature aging and graceful vitality is whether you invite those emotions in, feed them, and let them fester, or whether you meet them, acknowledge them, and release them. This is not a theoretical concept. It is a practical, daily choice that separates those who appear vibrant from those who appear tired beyond their years. And here is something few will tell you: emotional discipline is cumulative. It compounds over time. The person who practices letting go, the person who protects their mental space, the person who chooses peace over conflict consistently over months and years will look younger and move through life lighter. Their energy becomes magnetic. Their confidence becomes unshakable. and their presence alone can inspire, uplift, and energize others. Meanwhile, the person who allows unresolved emotions to fester ages rapidly, even if their calendar says otherwise. Emotional neglect is silent, invisible, but it is far more destructive than any visible sign of aging. Another element of emotional discipline is the ability to detach from outcomes. Many people age prematurely because they tie their self-worth to results, validation, and approval. Every failure, every criticism, every rejection becomes a weight they carry. This weight manifests as tension in the jaw, tightness in the shoulders, and a heaviness in their eyes. The person who looks younger than their age has mastered detachment, not indifference, but perspective. They understand that life unfolds with its own rhythm, that challenges are temporary, and that their worth is inherent, not conditional. That understanding alone preserves youth. Emotional discipline also means protecting yourself from unnecessary toxicity. People who allow drama, gossip, and constant negativity into their lives may not realize how much it ages them. Every argument, every complaint, every piece of unnecessary tension is an invisible attack on their vitality. But those who set boundaries, who choose their company wisely, and who maintain clarity in their relationships, keep their energy in their relationships, keep their energy intact. Third, your internal environment. The more your external appearance reflects vibrancy and youth. And here is the most important truth. Emotional discipline is not about perfection. It is not about never feeling anger, fear, or sadness. Life will deliver those emotions, and you are human. But it is about mastery. It is about developing the skill to process, release, and respond. It is about choosing which thoughts and emotions deserve space in your mind. Every choice you make about your inner world ripples outward into your body, your appearance, and your energy. Those who look younger than their age are not lucky. They are disciplined. They have learned to navigate the inner world intelligently, to protect their peace relentlessly, and to invest energy in what truly matters. So if you want to preserve your youth, do not look only at your skincare routine or your physical health. Look at your emotional health. Look at how you respond when life challenges you. Look at the moments you hold on to resentment versus the moments you choose release. Protecting your peace is not a luxury, it is a necessity for longevity, vitality, and grace. The people who carry youth in their energy, in their presence, and in their appearance understand one thing. The mind and body are deeply connected. Calm the mind, regulate your emotions, protect your energy, and the body will follow. Emotional discipline is the invisible fountain of youth. So today, reflect on your own inner world. Ask yourself, am I feeding my emotional chaos or am I cultivating mastery? Every time you choose discipline over reaction, you are choosing youth over premature aging. You are choosing vitality over exhaustion. And the power to maintain your youth lies in your hands. Emotional discipline is not just a habit. It is your armor, your strategy, and your gift to yourself. Protect it fiercely. Your face, your body, your life, and your energy will thank you. If you want to understand why some people maintain that light, youthful energy while others seem weighed down by life long before their years, you must understand the role of bitterness. Bitterness is one of the heaviest burdens a human being can carry, and yet it is so common, so invisible, that most people don't even recognize it until it has already left its mark. Bitterness does not just live in the mind, it lives in the body, in the posture, in the way someone breathes, and in the way someone carries themselves through the world. It ages you far faster than any calendar ever could. Many people believe that holding on to anger, resentment, or past pain is a sign of strength. as if refusing to let go proves their resilience. But the truth is the opposite. Bitterness is not strength. It is a slow poison. Every time you relive a hurt, replay a slight, or dwell on what went wrong, you are feeding it. You are allowing it to seep into your nervous system, into your muscles, into the very cells of your body. Lines form around the eyes, tension grips your shoulders, and the vibrancy that comes naturally with youth and energy begins to fade. Bitterness ages not just your face, but your spirit. Now, contrast that with people who refuse to be bitter. They do not ignore pain, nor do they pretend that challenges didn't happen. They acknowledge the hurt fully, feel the disappointment deeply, but then they make a conscious choice not to let it define them. They understand that holding on to resentment is a form of self-abuse, a weight they never agreed to carry. And in that choice lies a secret: freedom. The freedom to live unburdened, the freedom to preserve your energy, the freedom to remain radiant. Bitterness is a silent thief of time. It robs your present, it clouds your judgment, and it convinces you that the world owes you something. When someone clings to bitterness, they are constantly reliving the past, and the body and mind begin to reflect it. Youth cannot survive in a mind that constantly plays old recordings of anger or disappointment. Youth cannot survive in a heart that has built walls of cynicism and distrust. But when you make the conscious decision to release bitterness, the transformation is remarkable. Your posture lightens, your face softens, your eyes regain their spark, and your energy becomes magnetic. The people who refuse bitterness have a subtle yet powerful strength. They have learned how to extract lessons from hardship without letting hardship consume them. They do not deny reality. They simply refuse to let it imprison them. Life will always be imperfect. People will disappoint. Situations will fail to meet your expectations. But the difference lies in whether you choose to carry those disappointments as chains or whether you use them as stepping stones. Those who maintain their youthful energy know that bitterness is optional. It is a choice, and choosing against it is an act of courage. Bitterness also affects how you relate to others. People who carry resentment often become critical, suspicious, and negative. Their presence can drain rooms and relationships. Youthful energy thrives in generosity, openness, and curiosity. It cannot coexist with a heart that is closed, a mind that is cynical, and a spirit that is hardened. Choosing to refuse bitterness is, in essence, a choice to remain open to life, to continue trusting, and to continue finding joy in small moments. And that choice has a visible effect on your appearance, your body language, and your overall presence in the world. Let me make this even clearer. Refusing bitterness does not mean you become naive. It does not mean you allow yourself to be treated poorly or ignore injustice. On the contrary, it means you face life honestly and make conscious decisions about what deserves your energy and what does not. It is a disciplined form of wisdom. It is understanding that carrying resentment against someone else does not hurt them. It hurts you. It drains your vitality, clouds your mind, and accelerates aging. Choosing not to carry bitterness preserves more than your energy. It preserves your life force. This is why some people seem to grow younger as they grow older. As they grow older, they have learned how to release what is not theirs to hold. They have refused to take on unnecessary emotional weight. They understand that life will challenge them endlessly, but those challenges do not have to define their experience. Bitterness is optional. Energy is not. And those who refuse to let bitterness take root live in a state of lightness, grace, and radiance that the world instinctively notices. People who refuse bitterness also have an inner strength that is rare. They can face betrayal without becoming cynical. They can face loss without surrendering to despair. They can face failure without retreating into self-pity. And every time they make that choice, they reinforce a cycle of resilience, vitality, and presence. Their faces may carry lines from experience, but they do not carry the weight of resentment. Their energy is visible, and it becomes a silent declaration of freedom. And here is the final truth that most people will never hear. Refusing bitterness is not just about personal happiness, it is about longevity. Scientific studies show that negative emotions, chronic anger, and unresolved resentment all contribute to accelerated aging, higher risk of disease, and shorter lifespan. Letting go is not only a spiritual and psychological practice, it is a physiological necessity. Youth, vitality, and even physical appearance are deeply linked to emotional clarity and freedom from bitterness. So, if you want to remain radiant, luminous, and youthful, start with your heart. Ask yourself, am I holding on to anger, resentment, or old wounds that are not mine to carry? Am I choosing to rehearse the past, or am I choosing to live in the present with clarity and grace? Refuse bitterness relentlessly. Guard your inner world like the most precious asset you own. And understand this: every time you release resentment, every time you let go of judgment, every time you choose forgiveness over hatred, you are investing in yourself, not just your mind and spirit, but your very body. Youthfulness is not given, it is cultivated. It is not a product of circumstance. It is a product of choice. And one of the most powerful choices you can ever make is to refuse bitterness, to refuse resentment, to refuse the heavy weight of anger, and instead to cultivate lightness, clarity, and grace. Your energy, your radiance, and even your physical appearance will reflect it. Your life will reflect it, and you will become a living testament to the truth that those who refuse bitterness do not just survive, they thrive. If you want to maintain your youthfulness, your energy, and your vitality, you have to understand something most people completely ignore: how much living inauthentically ages you. It is not the number of years you have lived that determines how old you appear. It is the amount of internal conflict you carry, the degree to which your actions, thoughts, and words are misaligned with who you truly are. Every time you live for someone else's expectations, every time you pretend to be someone you are not, every time you suppress your truth to fit in or to avoid discomfort, you are aging yourself from the inside out. Think about it. How exhausting is it to live according to the script written by society, by peers, or even by family? You wake up every day wearing masks that hide your insecurities, fears, and true desires. You nod when you disagree, smile when you are hurt, and say yes when you mean no. And that tension, that constant effort to manage appearances, it drains energy at a level that few people realize. Your body mirrors that struggle. Your posture stiffens. Your face tightens. Your energy dims. You look older because internally you are carrying years of unexpressed truth. The people who look younger than their age have learned a secret that most will never discover. They do not live according to external expectations. They do not allow other people's opinions to dictate their choices. They have mastered the art of internal alignment. Their thoughts, their words, and their actions are synchronized with their core values. They do not waste energy performing for others or defending a version of themselves that isn't real. That internal harmony radiates outward, and it is visible to everyone around them. Youthfulness is not just a physical trait, it is the byproduct of living authentically. Authentic living requires courage. It requires the courage to speak your truth even when it is uncomfortable. It requires the courage to set boundaries, to refuse obligations that drain you, and to walk away from relationships, jobs, or environments that do not honor your essence. And while it may seem easier to conform, to settle, to pretend, doing so is what ages people prematurely. It is what creates tension in the body, lines in the face, and heaviness in the spirit. The more aligned you are internally, the lighter your energy, the freer your movements, and the more vibrant your presence becomes. Internal conflict does not just affect your physical presence, it affects your mind and your spirit as well. Every time you make a choice that contradicts your values, your nervous system records it as stress. Every compromise that suppresses, so your true self creates a subtle anxiety that compounds over time. Every time you hide your feelings, you send a signal to your body that the world is unsafe. Your body then responds with tension, hormonal shifts, and an accelerated aging process. And the worst part is, most people don't even notice it until the signs are visible. They are carrying invisible weights that have tangible consequences, and by the time they see the results, it feels irreversible. Living authentically also means embracing your uniqueness. It means stopping the endless comparison to others and acknowledging that your path, your timing, and your way of doing things are valid. When you accept yourself fully, your energy stops leaking into the pursuit of approval. You stop chasing validation from people who will never be satisfied. You stop trying to fit into molds that were never made for you, and the liberation that comes from this self-acceptance preserves vitality like nothing else. Your body, mind, and spirit are no longer overburdened by stress, guilt, or self-doubt. Your energy flows naturally. Your youthfulness becomes visible. There is also a deeper psychological truth here. Internal conflict creates tension not only within yourself, but in your interactions with others. When you are not aligned, your words, gestures, and expressions carry subtle signals of dishonesty or resistance. People unconsciously pick up on this energy. It disrupts relationships, creates friction, and generates cycles of stress that feed back into your system. But when you live authentically, those interactions become smooth. Your presence is trustworthy. Your energy is calm. Your life becomes a reflection of clarity and intentionality. And that clarity, that absence of internal conflict, is a powerful anti-aging force. It is important to note that authentic living does not mean rigidity. It does not mean rigidity. It does not mean why I will never adjust, compromise, or negotiate. Life requires flexibility. But it does mean that your flexibility is conscious, intentional, and grounded in your core values. It means that you make choices that honor your integrity, not choices dictated by fear, guilt, or social pressure. The difference between aging prematurely and aging gracefully is this distinction. Whether your life is guided by external pressures or internal alignment. Many people spend decades trying to please everyone, suppressing who they truly are, and constantly adjusting to expectations. And all the while, their energy diminishes, their vitality declines, and their appearance reflects the inner tension. The people who look younger than their age have discovered the opposite path. They invest energy into their inner alignment. They consciously choose clarity, consistency, and authenticity. They speak their truth, even when it is difficult. They prioritize environments and relationships that honor their essence, and they release anything that causes unnecessary internal conflict. So today, I challenge you to examine your own life. Ask yourself, Are my actions, my words, and my thoughts in alignment with who I truly am? Am I living in a way that honors my values, my energy, and my spirit? Or am I carrying masks that drain me, suppressing my truth to fit into someone else's expectations? The choice is yours. Internal alignment is not just a philosophical ideal, it is a practical daily practice that directly impacts your energy, your vitality, and your youthfulness. Living authentically reduces internal conflict. Internal conflict drains energy, accelerates aging, and diminishes presence. Alignment preserves energy, radiates youthfulness, and creates a life of clarity and purpose. Your face, your posture, your energy, they all reflect the choices you make about how honestly you live. And I'll start today, if you make authenticity a priority, you will not only preserve your youth, you will radiate it in a way that inspires and influences everyone around you. The most powerful truth is this: youthfulness is not given. It is earned through emotional mastery, alignment, and the courage to live truthfully. If you are willing to align your life with your truth, your energy will remain intact, your presence will remain radiant, and your life will reflect the timeless vibrancy that comes from living authentically. Your youth is not in your birth certificate, it is in your integrity, your courage, and your alignment with who you truly are. If you want to truly understand why some people carry a vitality that makes them appear younger than their years, you have to grasp a subtle but powerful truth. Maturity does not mean heaviness. Most people confuse maturity with burden. They think the older you get, the more serious, rigid, or hardened you must become. They believe that wisdom is measured by how many scars you carry, how many rules you follow, or how much weight you bear on your shoulders. But that is a misconception that ages people far faster than time ever could. True maturity is not about accumulating heaviness. It is about cultivating stability, clarity, and strength without losing your lightness, your curiosity, or your presence. Think about the people who seem to defy age. They have experienced hardship, heartbreak, failure, and loss, yet there is a lightness about them, a sense that they move through life unburdened. Their faces carry wisdom, but not bitterness. Their eyes show depth, but not despair. Their voices are calm, but not subdued. That is maturity without emotional heaviness. It is the mastery of living fully in the world, absorbing life's lessons without letting them crush your spirit. It is understanding that life will test you endlessly, but those tests do not have to define you, shape you into bitterness, or rob you of vitality. Most people fail to see the difference between age and maturity. Age is measured by the passing of time. Maturity is measured by how you respond to that time, to the challenges, and to the emotions that accompany it. When people allow every hardship, every betrayal, every mistake to weigh them down, they age internally, and their bodies, their posture, and their presence reflect that. But the people who maintain their youth understand a critical distinction. Life will inevitably deliver pain, but you can decide whether to carry it as chains or use it as fuel. Emotional heaviness is optional. It is a choice. And choosing freedom over burden is what preserves vitality, youthfulness, and radiance. Maturity without heaviness is also about balance. It is about knowing when to engage and when to let go. It is about understanding that not every conflict requires your participation, not every criticism deserves a reaction, and not every expectation needs to be met. The people who seem ageless in their energy have mastered this balance. They are strong, wise, and decisive, yet they are not rigid or brittle. Their energy is stable, fluid, and expansive. They have learned to carry wisdom without carrying unnecessary weight. And that subtle mastery is visible. It is reflected in the way they move, the calmness in their eyes, and the quiet authority in their presence. Another critical aspect of this principle is self-awareness. Those who maintain youthful energy while being mature understand themselves deeply. They know their values, their boundaries, and their priorities. They recognize the difference between what belongs to them and what belongs to others. They understand that carrying someone else's expectations, resentment, or chaos is not a sign of virtue. It is a source of uneasiness, sorry, heaviness. By mastering themselves, they free themselves from unnecessary emotional load. This self-awareness is not arrogance, it is a profound act of self-preservation. It allows them to invest their energy wisely, maintain vitality, and radiate presence. Maturity without emotional heaviness is also about acceptance. It is about embracing life as it is without constantly fighting, resisting, or resenting the circumstances that cannot be changed. People who age gracefully have learnt the art of acceptance, not passive resignation, but intelligent acknowledgement of reality. They face challenges squarely, learn from mistakes, and move forward without dwelling in regret or anger. They understand that acceptance does not mean weakness. It means energy is preserved for what truly matters. And that preservation of energy is a direct contributor to their youthful vitality. The people who practice this form of maturity also have remarkable resilience. Life will always present hardships, but they respond with clarity and composure rather than panic or despair. They understand that their energy is their most valuable asset, and they guard it fiercely. They know that giving too much to unnecessary conflict, toxic relationships, or self-inflicted negativity is a form of self-sabotage. Instead, they allocate their energy where it produces growth, joy, and purpose. And the result is visible. They move through life with a lightness that seems impossible for someone who has lived decades, yet their presence carries depth, wisdom, and authority. It is important to note that emotional heaviness is often disguised as responsibility or sacrifice. Many people believe that carrying pain, guilt, or unresolved anger is a sign of maturity. They think that enduring hardship silently proves strength, but in reality, carrying such weight unnecessarily is a slow erosion of vitality. True power comes from choosing what you carry. It comes from releasing what does not serve your growth. It comes from understanding that resilience, clarity, and grace are more valuable than rigidity, bitterness, or exhaustion. Maturity without heaviness is mastery, and mastery preserves youth. So, if you want to live with energy, presence, and vitality, ask yourself, am I carrying burdens that are not mine to carry? Am I allowing past pain, others' expectations, or unnecessary conflict to weigh me down? Or am I practicing the subtle art of maturity without heaviness, absorbing life's lessons, learning, growing, and moving forward with clarity and lightness? The people who maintain their youthfulness and vitality do not avoid life. They simply navigate it intelligently. They protect their energy, honor their boundaries, and cultivate presence without succumbing to weight that ages them prematurely. The power of this principle cannot be overstated. When you cultivate maturity without emotional heaviness, you are choosing freedom, vitality, and resilience over stagnation, fatigue, and early aging. You are choosing to become a person whose presence inspires trust, admiration, and influence. You are choosing to move through life fully alive, awake, and radiant, even as the years pass. And that is the ultimate mastery, a mastery of life, energy, and self that few ever achieve, but that everyone can choose to practice. So today, reflect deeply. Ask yourself, am I aging because of time, or am I aging because of the emotional weight I carry unnecessary? Riley, am I living with maturity, or have I allowed heaviness to define my years? The choice is yours. Every moment you practice letting go, every decision you make to preserve your energy, every boundary you set consciously, you are reclaiming your vitality. Maturity is not the accumulation of burden. It is the cultivation of mastery, clarity, and presence. And when you live this way, you will radiate youthfulness, power, and life in a way that commands attention, respect, and admiration. Your age is measured not by years, but by the energy you carry, the clarity you cultivate, and the lightness you preserve. Choose wisely.